Yeah, here we are again. Hello everyone. As I like to say, welcome to my channel, my video, my whatever you're watching me on or whatever it is. Today is another fuck it video. Okay. I am sitting here, I'm laying on my bed, and I am it is really sunny outside, and at the moment I don't feel like going outside, but maybe I'll take you outside because, you know, at the end of the day I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna let you know a secret of life, and the secret of life that we never really know. I'm just letting everything flow as you know I do. I flow, I flow, I flow, I flow. And I'm loving the flow. I'm just loving the flow of letting go and letting go and letting go and not giving a fuck about any of this. You know, life will always be up and down, and you're always gonna feel, and everything outside of you has told you that you need to medicate yourself because you have your feelings that are high and low and in between, nothing in between. You should always feel joyful, you should always feel happy, and predominantly and ironically, if you face everything, you feel more happy because basically, I'm happy right now. My energy may be low. No, it's not really low. I felt much lower energy. But at the end of the day, I don't really give a fuck. And you shouldn't really give a fuck either. And if you're here giving a fuck, you shouldn't really give a fuck. It's really a fuck it day. But anyway, you know, I'm reading a book right now called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I love these books. There's several books written about this. So those people are my tribe. So I found my tribe. So sometimes my mind can feel like that I'm insane and that I'm losing my mind like Jim Carrey, but actually I think that Jim Carrey is my hero, and if you don't think that he's a hero, your hero, I don't give a fuck because I don't give a fuck because it is my fuck to give. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, I love you anyway, and if you don't love me, then I don't give a fuck. You don't have to. So I'm not in a defensive mode today. I'm just in a mood. I don't know, a mood, and I don't really care. I don't give a fuck, and it's so liberating. It's so liberating. So actually, sometimes we do, but we select what we give a fuck about. Today, I don't really give a fuck about anything necessarily, and I feel so strong by not giving a fuck about where I'm going to go next, how I'm going to be perceived. Sometimes it feels like that because my head is a computer. My head, let me slow down. I'm hyper, I'm sensitive. Am I sensitive right now? I don't really know. I don't have to relate to any of that mental garbage. Ah, gosh, it's so liberating. Anyway, where was I going? I forgot. But I don't give a fuck. Anyway. Life has many ups and downs, and you know, we are so afraid of just sharing ourselves. We're so afraid of showing our weaknesses because we've been told that we should medicate that and that we should not be that. And right now I have a feeling, what comes up in my head? Someone said to me or to a friend, and maybe she's watching this because I've never actually confronted her about that, she was concerned about me and she thought that I was bipolar. Do you know what I mean? And that I have some kind of, I don't know, that maybe perhaps my mood swings are so erratic, different every day. Well, let me tell you something. I don't really give a fuck if you think about that about me because it's all about my own fucks that I give about how I think about everything. And so I have mood swings. Yeah. And I'm a kid. But anyway, they swing, they go, they're up and down, and I love that. I just really love all of that. And I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you don't like my silliness. I don't give a fuck if you don't like my my not caring, my reputation, I don't really give a fuck about my jobs. I love my jobs to defend myself. I love my jobs. I love what I do. I love working with people. I love sharing. Do I give a fuck about the outcome? I don't know. I always intend for it to be good, but maybe if you don't give a fuck about it, or if you don't give a fuck about me, then maybe, I don't know, you won't relate to my outcome, or my work, or my, you know, like the gift I give from my mind, what I put out in my work, and my creativity, my sharings, or whatever. I don't give a fuck. I'm here to not give a fuck so you don't give a fuck, basically. And I think it's a time right now for us to not give a fuck, you know, but to respect each other. I give a fuck about respect. I give a fuck about other people. I give a fuck about people's authentic selves, their true selves, not what their ego is. I don't give a fuck about their house. I don't give a fuck about their reputation. I don't give a fuck about their car. I don't give a fuck about what they've achieved. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm inspired, but I don't give a fuck in the sense that it's better than me or outside of me or different from me. And you shouldn't either, or you couldn't either. I don't know. I don't like the word should or could, but then again, yeah. That's what I give a fuck about, or not give a fuck about. Does that make sense? I don't know. Every minute changes. Everything changes. Everything changes every single moment of every day when you observe yourself and you look at yourself and you like really start realizing what you're giving a fuck about. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you gotta sleep. And the struggle of life and the ups and down flows of life are gonna happen, even if you give a fuck or not. So everything's going to just appear, and it's just going to be part of the flow of the stream of life, the events that are happening in your life. And if you give too much of a fuck about what people think and what people are, how you're perceiving and how you're being perceived, and you're afraid and your fear and all those kind of things, their emotions, their contrast motions, you would not know freedom without knowing all of that stuff. But then again, I think it's an illusion, and it's more of an illusion because I look at it as all up in my head. I think I give a fuck about the room right now, so I'm gonna make a move outside so I can have a little bit of sunshine on my face while I share with you. Come with me to give a fuck. If you give a fuck. Well, it's so liberating to not give a fuck right now. Anyway, it is so beautiful and it's so hot, and I don't know, I'm just like feel reclusive, and I don't give a fuck about that. I just really don't give a fuck. I feel scattered right now, but I don't really give a fuck about that either. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh my God. Look at my life. Are you jealous? I hope you're jealous. If you're not jealous, I don't give a fuck. No, anyway, so seriously, on another matter, it's just a beautiful way to live your life now, right? I have a beautiful shirt on, look. A positive attitude, this is from my cousin, makes for good times. It certainly does. It's so liberating to not give a fuck. And by not giving a fuck, I really believe that life is magic. It's much more magical than I've been told, or I've been taught, or in the education, or the you know, the things that I've learned in my mind, which schooling was like, I don't really give a fuck about school necessarily. I'm grateful for education, but like all the social interaction that happens in the school, or like, you know, like I'm just going back to school days, how I was bullied, how I was like, I started to give way too much fucks about what, like how I was perceived, or how, like, you know, and this what stifled my creativity because everybody just didn't like it, or I felt like everybody didn't like it. But secretly I think everybody did in some ways. But children don't know better. I mean, they don't know better. So once you realize that, you don't give a fuck anymore about any of it. It's so liberating to just say the word fuck. And I don't, you know, like when I was younger, like I've shared with you before, I used to, if I would say the word fuck, I would get my mouth washed out with soap. Now, that was an action that created another kind of, how can you say, I don't know, created me to behave and to go into the corner and stuff like that, so I wouldn't be treated by some kind of actions. Mama, forgive you, and all that stuff like that. It was just something she learned and thought it was better, that it would help, that it would, like, you know, clean my mouth if it was soapy. But I don't give a fuck anymore, Mom. But I love you. And I know you give a fuck about me, so that don't matter. So all the fucks are given, and all the fucks are valuable, I guess, at this time. So being my silly self and loving myself and just giving a fuck. Giving the fucks where I want to give fucks. Do you know what I mean? Oh, it's so liberating to not give a fuck. Really, it's just so incredible. So let me show you one more time my view And so you can give a fuck or not give a fuck, and you can go on with your day. Right now, on a serious note, I just want to share that it's really important. It's really important to really not give a fuck anymore about what people think and how people perceive you, because they're going to perceive you from their own perspective and perception of their own life and their own rules that they've set for themselves. Because I firmly believe that if anything that you do, or even I do with my shares, will make anyone feel uncomfortable, that has nothing to do with me, and I truly don't give a fuck. I've come up on this decision to not give a fuck because it's liberating, and it's loving, and it's unconditional. Live and let live is the biggest thing, and by not giving a fuck, go out and read these books. There are so much more people out there that give a fuck about people who don't give a fuck, because it is just necessary in my world, and this is my world and my journey. I give a fuck about love and integrity and authenticity. She dropped a glass, and I don't give a fuck. Anyway, have a fuck-free day. I don't know, just lighten up and don't give a fuck. Just be yourself, be out there, be outrageous, and face the feeling of giving a fuck, and then not give a fuck, if that makes any sense. And if it doesn't make any sense, I can't really give a fuck about it. Because I don't want you to give a fuck about me at all. You know, it's either love or it's not, or it's appreciation or it's not, or it's judgment or it's labels, or it's just exhausting. It's so exhausting to give a fuck. So I guess that's what life is about at the end of the day, is learning not to give a fuck. I've got things to do to give a fuck about how I want to be and how I choose to be. So, what a beautiful, beautiful expression, and liberating to not give a fuck. Right? Crazy cuckoo. I'm the most loving bundle of joy right here, and I'm a kid, and I don't give a fuck. Kids don't give a fuck until they learn to give a fuck. What happens to us? What happens to us? Okay, I don't know. Welcome to another fuck you video, or I don't give a fuck video. With all due respect. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching.